Hello, thank you for joining me today. I am Nicole. I am also known as my soul imprint name of Lord Delphinus. Today's date is April 25th, 2023. If you are new to any of my content, I have a different YouTube, Healing Disclosures with Nicole. That's a different type of content. And so quantum energy transformations is a new venture. It's actually the same thing I've been doing, but I've been guided by source to really put this in a focused area to help more people, to help more souls. So I'm going to explain this like you've never seen me before. You've never heard of anything that I've ever done before. So all of my existing subscribers and crew members and people that have joined our Telegram group, hang in there. You'll probably learn some stuff that you did not know before. But yeah, let's just dive into it. So quantum energy transformation, that in itself, you're probably like, what the heck does that mean? So, we're energy bodies. The physical form that you see me wear, this body, the physical form that you're in, that is a temporary state of being. It's something that we chose specifically for this incarnation. Our energy body is the constant. Our energy body is the soul. Our energy body is what transforms from incarnation to incarnation, from dimension to dimension. We are at the core energy. So energy cannot be destroyed. It can only be transformed and transmuted. The basis of a lot of issues that we humans find ourselves dealing with because we grew up on this 3D dense gangster planet called Earth. A lot of it, I would venture to say the majority of it, is based on energy imbalance and energy distortions. Because where there's positive energy, there's also negative energy. Okay. So, as a point of reference, quantum. There's a lot of quantum names flying around our culture these days. Quantum's definition is minimum amount of any physical entity involved in an interaction. Quantum energy transformation is the type of energy transformation that is delivered whenever I assist energy bodies in clearing out the gunk that they have acquired in this incarnation on this planet, so that they can have a clear channel, a clear flow of energy in their energy body and in their physical form. Okay. So yeah, I say quantum because I deliver that energy instantaneously. We are not on a Zoom call. We're not on a telephone call. There's some interaction. There's definitely consent. There's some minimal prep really that is required, because it's energy work. At the end of the day, your higher self is who I really work with and through. And that is for your highest and best good. Your higher self is always in a state of neutrality, working for your highest and best good. Your higher self is the aspect of your consciousness that accepts in the energy to clear and help align the parts of the energy body that's out of balance. So that's why people don't need to be awake. They can be. I recommend being awake, but you don't have to be awake. The energy is delivered over a 2-hour period of time. Because of that, and because of life, because of poor boundaries and saying yes to everyone, and not really respecting that we also deserve self-care and self-love, it's hard for people to carve out 2 hours in their day. So a lot of people opt for the evening when things are settling down in their home, and bedtime. And so, inevitably, most people do fall asleep, and sleeping does not negate the the energy that is sent, because again, I work with your higher self. So you just have to be accepting of it in your consciousness, and your higher self accepts and pulls in that energy, and the healing is as effective. You just wouldn't have the conscious awareness of maybe feeling your chakras ache a little bit, or having ringing in your ears or something like that. So that's one question I get often, like, do we have to be on Zoom, and do I need to be on the phone, and can I drink water? And can I get up and go to the bathroom? Of course you can. I do want you to be in a relaxed state. And so we have you listen to some high hertz healing frequency music, because we're frequency, and frequency is power, and energy is what we're aligning. And so the more pieces of the puzzle that is in your immediate environment that is in alignment, the easier and more effective the integration of the healing that is delivered. So a lot of times people will just hear the frequency music, and it just is so calming, and such a contrast from their normal day to day, that they just get into a place of very relaxed comfort, and fall asleep. So I say transformation again because I'm Western trained as a registered nurse. I've been a registered nurse for many, many years, over 20 some odd years. And so all of that knowledge, all of that um, experience, I thought was going to be wasted. I thought, gosh, I've wasted so much time in my life, and this is not what I can't do this anymore, because I felt like I was part of a problem and I wanted to be part of a solution. And in an answered prayer, I was given the ability to use that information and that experience and all those years, but in a greater good kind of way. So last year, whenever I went through my own energy transformation and was able to clear out the negative distortions from my own energy body, and I was able to have a deep and strong connection to Source Creator, Mother Sophia, my own God presence, which are my ascended masters, my guides, my angels, my archangels. Downloads started coming in to me that I am definitely a quote unquote healer, a divine energy healer, spiritual healer. And so it really I felt a calling my entire life to be a healer. I was functioning in the aspect of nursing and doing bedside nursing. And since that role, I ended that role for me in this life, I have transitioned to the energy transformation and the energy healing. And it is the most beautiful, profound, truly beneficial healing that I've ever been a part of. And I receive the same healing that I now send to others. Over time, I get downloaded with different skills, and different aspects get added into the session. But by and large, if I bring any specific obstacle to Source Creator, to my guides, to Mother Sophia, to Kuan Yin, she's a very important part of my skill set. She has shared a lot of wisdom and skill with me, and I'm very, very grateful for all of my ascendant masters who share their skill and wisdom with me. I can say, for instance, it would be really transformational for the culture of the planet if we can assist in derailing some of the things in our culture that automatically trigger anxiety and depression. And part of my abilities are claircognizance. And so information really just kind of drops into my knowing, and I feel it. And I feel it in a way that, as certain as I am of my shirt color, I'm as certain as I am in that information. Like it's information that comes in with a certainty. I don't question it. But although I do confirm with my higher self that I'm receiving accurate information, and I independently confirm with other people as well that are trusted on my team. So I posed that question, and information was downloaded to me that I was then able to develop a session specifically for that. And I have sent energy healing out to the masses. I have been able to be blessed with the ability to do that. And that is just for the greater good. And it's with mercy and grace from the divine. And so I don't know much, but it doesn't get much better than that for me. That's my own perspective. So, the typical human being growing up on this planet has, first of all, we've covered this before, but a lot of people have distortions in their energy body. Some people get to a certain point in their life where they have made wagers or they have made agreements, and they no longer have that soul. So they're no longer of the light. And then they have their free will choice is to not change that. They're happy with the way that they are. They're happy with the things that they got in return for that exchange. And so those type of beings, I would not be able to do anything with, because I work on energy and light bodies. And so you have to be of the light, and you have to be able to and be want the free will choice to clear up all the negative distortions. And so that's kind of a disclaimer. But if you're really listening to this and you're interested in this, chances are you're of the light, you have a high frequency, you know that you're here for a divine purpose, and you've been looking for that thing that can help you get on track of that plan, that divine plan and that divine path. That is just the way that it works. That's called divine timing and divine ways. So again, most of us go through, not great childhood. Some do, some don't. There's always some lessons to be learned, right? How do we learn these lessons? Well, we go through difficult times. You go through periods of time where your soul encounters friction. If you just coasted through life and everything, every day was sunny and the sky was always blue and the birds were always singing, it really doesn't leave you a lot of opportunity to see what life is like when the skies are gray and it's raining and the birds are not singing and there's just deafening silence. So to appreciate the light, you have to experience some dark. We know that now. That is a duality existence, and that is the existence of the 3D planet. So people come to through whatever lessons in life, and they get to the point where they have had enough remembrance that they're here for a bigger purpose. They may have had some inkling of their abilities. They may have some clairvoyance. They may have some telepathy. They may have that connection every now and again where they can get the downloads, but it's not consistent. They are doing all the things that they know to do, and they feel blocked, and they feel like there's something keeping them from their highest and best potential, and they would be accurate. So some of the stuff in our day-to-day environment has been put in place to make it hard for us to realize that we are supposed to have a connection to a higher source, to source creator. One thing is fluoride. Fluoride in our water, fluoride treatments, and fluoride that calcifies our pineal gland. Our pineal gland is used as a third eye, as a better sense about people, places, and things. So when our third eye is blinded because vision is not possible because the actual chakra is calcified and hardened and the pineal gland itself is not functioning, then it's easier to pull the wool over our eyes. It's easier to sell us something that doesn't make sense because that third sense, that third eye, not functioning. And our brain is the most manipulated part of our bodies. It's impossible to manipulate our gut. And it's harder to manipulate the heart, but it's still possible. So when I ask people, what does your gut tell you? That's your discernment. If you're feeling sick around someone and you feel like they're draining your energy, it's because they are. And it's because they're not in your highest and best good. And you shouldn't be sharing your energy with them because they are, in fact, taking it. So sometimes that's your family. Sometimes it's your boss. Sometimes it's your teenage child. And once you know better, then you have the free will choice again on what you're going to do about it. So a lot of common things that I'm able to remove and clear are negative entities, negative implants. Implants, people get a certain connotation in their mind about implants. So there's negative implants and there's positive implants. You're probably saying there's no such thing as a positive implant, but there really is. So in my own situation, I like to use myself because I don't want to speak about anyone else. My own situation, I am a starseed. And so my soul volunteered to come down to this planet and reincarnate again to help humanity. As a child, I incarnated into a family that agreed to not be the best parent. And so I had an implant that allowed communication to my actual soul father, who helped guide me, who helped give me this internal communication. At the time, I just thought it was my consciousness, I guess. I just thought it was like my thoughts. But I now know I was basically being parented by my soul father in a different dimension and healed quite frequently because that implant was there and in place. And now, in this day and age, we do know many people that have positive implants that have been placed as a form of communication, or as some people are very important and they're used to protect them. It's a protection. And then there's negative implants. And alien abduction is a real thing, especially for starseeds and light workers. And so if you don't have some memories from your childhood, if you feel like a lot of time went by and you don't really have a whole lot of memory of time, or you maybe have memory of kind of coming back into your body and you thought that was really weird, like what was that about? What kind of dream was that? Most alien abductions start around age 10 and they end around your middle teens. And those are usually performed by the Zetas, which is called the little grays. And part of what they do is they mind wipe you whenever it's all done, so you don't have any memory of it. And it's not really selective. They're mind wiping, and a lot of like childhood memories go with that. So that's what I mean by implants. Chakra blockages. So yes, you can remove organic chakra blockages via yoga and certain types of exercise and practice. But there are alien implanted chakras that get blocked because the goal is to keep our energy flow obstructed. With a unobstructed, non-distorted flow of energy, our frequency, which is equal to our power, is infinite. And we have a direct connection to source creator, our higher self, our ascended masters, our archangels, And so with that, we would have access to our power. And they never wanted us to have access to our power. We were actually created to be a slave race, and that is what they wanted us to do. They didn't want us to have autonomy and sovereignty. They wanted us to be controlled. And so a lot of the blockages, if you've been in a practice for a very long time and you still feel like you're trying to meditate and you get to a certain point where you feel the energy flow and then you really feel like it's been capped off, it has been. There's no other way to say it. I was in that same situation. I was doing all the things and I could not connect in meditation. I felt it get to a certain point, and then it was just this black void. And as soon as I went through my own clearing and transformation, I had beautiful meditations. And so that practice of meditating really served me well on the other side of the energy clearing, because I had a methodology for my meditation already in place, but I couldn't reach my that deep state of consciousness that's required for a really good productive meditation. So we help clear that. Hooks, daggers, and bindings. Now these are etheric hooks, etheric daggers, and etheric bindings, but they are nonetheless very effective. So a typical client will have somewhere around 40 to 60 etheric hooks and daggers each, and then bindings somewhere around the same. We can clear people of spells, hexes, curses from witchcraft. It's a real thing. Negative forms of voodoo. There's positive forms of witchcraft. There's positive forms of voodoo. With all things, there's good and bad. With all things, there's light and dark. So ancestral curses, past life curses, those are also real things. Sometimes you'll have a curse put on a unborn child, and you end up being that unborn child, and it follows you. Black goo is a byproduct of AI, and it really helps numb our senses so that we are more malleable as a people. We just are easier to go along with things and not question. Nanites, demons, parasites. Parasites in the third eye chakra is common. Matter of fact, I've never encountered someone that didn't have parasites in their third eye. It's another thing that has been purposefully put in place to help us to be easier controlled. Jinxes, bad luck, manipulations. Those are real things too. And you'd be surprised, right? So sometimes people are like, I don't know, like who would ever do that? And then we can kind of divinate down and see, you can get the sense once you're clear, you can sense someone else's energy and you can get a feeling of, oh, I thought they were my friend, or my sister's doing this to me. Like, yeah, you'd be surprised how the intentions of someone's thoughts and feelings for you throw negative energy into your being, into your energy body, and have it and create a distortion, especially if there's an emotional connection there. So like the closer you are to someone, the deeper the attachment, because there's an investment there. Emotional and mental abuse. This causes core wounds. And lots of trauma. And so that can also be cleared. That the core wounds are usually cleared multi-stage. It just depends on the individual. There's also trapped emotions in the organ systems that we release, because our organs hold certain types of emotion. And the effect of abuse is not just physical, right? And so You ever hear anyone that's an abuse survivor, they'll talk about, the physical aspects of it are much easier to heal from than the spiritual and the mental. That's the stuff that stays with people for a very long time. And it stays with them in a core wound and creating a negative cord and attachment to that event and that person, because sometimes that person is somebody that you're in contact with because they're in your family. The other thing about that is that a lot of times we as a soul contracted to have that occur in our life so that our soul could evolve going through that lesson. And so it's not something that in any way, shape, or form really should have been prevented. But now you go through the lesson and you've learned the lesson and your soul has evolved beyond it. You don't need to go back and relive it. This is not something that you need to keep going and having the distortion of. So now is the time to clear that out so that you can continue to move forward in your progression as a sovereign being. So all of the things that I just mentioned can be removed energetically in a quantum energy transformation session. And most people have some variations of that. Now, also, every now and again, someone has all of that. You just never know. Everyone is very, very individual. Some people are very compartmentalized and they're able to function in a way that you would never suspect, right? But that doesn't accurately represent, that's just coping mechanisms. That doesn't accurately represent what's actually deep in their energy bodies. And the healing, the energy transformation is done through all 12 energy bodies. So this is complete. And so you're wondering, how did this even come about? So again, last year, all of this was actually done for me. And it was part of my spiritual awakening. It was part of my spiritual aha, like, oh, this is why I could never connect in meditation. And oh, this is why I always had this pain in my shoulder. And this is why I always had this pain in my hip. So the pain in my hip was a negative implant. And implants are a higher dimensional construct. And so there's not anything that's going to show up on an x-ray or CT scan or MRI, any of that stuff. But it's there. It's energy nonetheless. I also had one on the back of my shoulder that bothered me ever since I was like 14 years old. And not in a painful way, but I knew it was there. I thought it was just like a sebaceous cyst or like a blackhead or something like that. Last year, no, 2 years ago, I guess now, I saw a dermatologist and they punched it and removed it and it was very deep, the area. He said it was very uncommon. It didn't look like anything he had ever seen. Had to have it stitched up. Well, come to find out, it was actually a positive implant from my crew. And so that's been remedied. But it had been with me for a very, very long time. And I just thought, yeah, dermatologist, while you're there, take care of it. But it was actually a positive implant for me. So again, back to how this came about. When I went through my own clearing, I could feel energy releasing from my chakras. I could feel energy releasing all throughout my body, really. That felt, once it was gone, I just felt lighter. And, in my career, I'd always thought, science of medicine required us to perform procedures that caused pain in the name of science, in the name of making someone feel better. We made them feel worse. And so what I went through, I would never say made me feel bad. I didn't have really any negative thing to say about it. The energy is delivered over a 2-hour period of time. And then it's the effect of the energy transformation integrates in your body, in your physical form over 2 weeks time. And we purge out the toxins, we purge out the negative energy. the remnants of that debris that's left in our energy bodies purges out through our physical form. And what does that look like? Well, that looks like a sinus infection, or you pee a lot, or your ears ring. You might get a skin rash for a few days. You might have some nausea. And that's usually the extent of it. But it happens around 5, 8 day mark, somewhere up in there, where you're really starting to detox. Now, I always recommend for people that are able to tolerate it, salt baths with Epsom salt daily for a couple of weeks to help detox. If you don't have access to a bathtub, you could do a foot soak, same thing, for at least 10, 15 minutes to help detox the negative energy out of your system from the healing clearing. And you will see that really, again, multifaceted, multi-layers, right? You're listening to high hertz frequency music, you're detoxing in a salt bath, and you're clearing that negative energy. So then you have a clear energy field, and you really, really start to become aware. So your third eye is no longer calcified. You don't have any parasites there. Your pineal gland is clear. Your ears are ringing because your frequency is rising. You may have some headache initially, but like traditionally, if you start to feel bad after you have energy transformation, the first thing people should ask is, am I purging? Am I upgrading? And then you can ask that question because you have a clear connection to your higher self, because you are unobstructed in your chakras. You no longer have the distortions. You no longer have the negative cords and the attachments. You no longer have the things that are fractalating the energy in all different directions, instead of just having that focus column of light. That is our ultimate goal, is to stay in that clear channel so that you don't have the noise and the distortions of the negative energy that has been thrown at us over growing up in this gangster planet, right? So the energy body, it's resilient, first of all, can handle a lot. Once it's clear, we really do understand the power that we hold, the sovereignty and the power. And I don't mean power in a malevolent way. I mean the power to really, connect to your spirit realm, the power to get your answers from source creator. How many of you have gone to church for however long, and you're praying and you're asking God for communication, and you want a sign that he hears you or she hears you? Well, I'm telling you right now, source creator, Mother Sophia, that's your father, mother, God, they hear you. You just don't have the ability to hear them back because you're full of negative distortions. So as soon as I was clear, I started getting these messages and downloads, and of course they know. Of course they hear you. You are their child. In many ways, they are with you in your thoughts, in your heart, in your intent, long before you ever even think about verbalizing something. So don't even worry about the words in the book or saying things a certain way. They know your heart. They know you. They know you better than you know you. So yeah, why is it okay for people to go to church and ask for a sign from the Lord, but it's not okay to have a actual connection where you actually get to have conversations with source? Well, I'm here to tell you that it is. It's okay. If you need permission, I'll give it to you. You have permission to talk to source. Your spirit team is there waiting to speak to you. They're just waiting for you to exercise your free will choice to invite that in. And to be able to do that, you have to be clear of negative energy, because you have to be able to have a clear channel of communication. Okay. It's like trying to have a conversation with someone and there's a bunch of people that keep picking the phone up. Well, you're not going to be able to have a clear conversation with the person on the other end that you actually intended to talk to, because all these people keep picking up on the line. It's the same thing. You got to clear out the noise. Get rid of the negative energy and only have positive energy. Okay. You want to be in a positive energy field. You want to be positive polarity. All of that makes you further in alignment with Source Creator. Source Creator is what some of you may call God. I don't use the term God because God is actually overused. And the intent sometimes, for me, my intent has always been Source Creator. But other people can hear God and they can think God of the underworld. They can think God like Lucifer. People call Lucifer a God. People call Satan a God. People call Moloch and Baal a God. I don't want there to be any misinterpretation about who I'm talking about and who I'm speaking of and who I honor. That is Source Creator and Mother Sophia and my spirit team and your spirit team. So this is some of the common things. I mentioned struggling in meditation. Do you have trouble sleeping? Are you constantly being woken up at night or you just can't fall asleep? Those are usually caused by astral bodies in your auric field, and they are put there to hijack your sleep, to keep your consciousness from connecting to your higher self. Are you a very anxious person? Do you suffer from anxiety and depression? Those are also intentionally done because some of our most powerful beings are also have a fairy lineage, and fairies are traditionally been trapped and manipulated and abused because they're smaller. But it doesn't mean that they're any less powerful. Matter of fact, some of our most powerful beings are from the fairy realm. And so if you struggle with anxiety and depression, chances are that's kind of your lineage, and you just need to be cleared and know how to protect yourself. Have you struggled to speak your truth, stand up for yourself, set boundaries? That's usually because your throat chakra is blocked. Sometimes there's implants in your throat chakra to keep you quiet. A lot of things have been overtly done to us as an energy body and being on this planet to make it easier for the controllers to control. And the more you know, the more you understand. If you've never heard any of this before, you're going to have a lot of homework to do, but I'm totally here to answer your questions because I was right where you are before. Do you feel like there's nagging aches and pains in your body that no one has any explanation for? For me, that was some of the negative implants. Again, never shows up on any x-rays. Can't be removed or anything. The only thing that happens is you'll end up getting a prescription for something that is not going to help. And it ends up causing another negative loop, low vibrational cycle of information. Do you struggle with setting boundaries? Are you finding incapable to say no? You just say yes to everything. Well, that's you always giving your power away. And most of us do that out of the culture that we live in, telling us that we shouldn't be selfish and we should be helpful. And so you get on this train that feeling like, this train's going full steam ahead. I'm going to help everyone and I'm going to be a better person. And at the end of the day, you have done nothing for yourself. That all really stems from negative distortions, feeding you this negative BS that you have to be there to help everyone. And in reality, those people need to help themselves and you need to help yourself. And that is where we get rewarded by Source. Are you convinced that you've been attacked spiritually? Or do you know that there's been some witchcraft or voodoo or something like that aimed in your direction? Those are real things. Do you feel helpless about that? Because you don't need to feel helpless about that. Are you really focused on material abundance and feel like the more stuff you buy, it's going to help you feel better, but inside you feel completely empty? That is a huge attachment to the material. Those cords and attachments are actually usually put on us to keep us in this negative loop. And they have to be cut. They have to be severed. They have to be healed from your energy body so that you can detach and have a clear thought of, oh, yeah, I spent all this money and all this crap, and I feel like less of a human being. I wonder why that is. It literally will make so much sense whenever things just start getting broken down and you can actually connect the dots. Addiction, codependencies, negative loop information, the what if people, those are really usually coming from negative distortions, negative implants, negative entities, lots of negative pressure to think and feel and do certain things that are not in your highest and best good, but it benefits others. And again, it's just all part of the same matrix that we've lived in. So all of these situations can be cleared in a quantum energy transformation session. So I deliver a lot of energy in the session. The goal is to really knock out the bulk of what is weighing people down and preventing them from really having that connection. Some people do require some follow-up sessions, but it's very individual, and I would say not the norm, but also what's normal, right? So the session itself, I really feel like is the first thing you can do to take your power back. If you have been feeling like you're just in this washing machine of this chaos that we've been living in, and you're at the point where you're just sick and tired of being sick and tired, and you're tired of listening to all the noise because it turns out to be just lies, 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 that is all true. And your truth is within you. Your truth is in your soul. Your soul knows you. This life is just one life. We've had many, many, many lives. Many lives. There's more to us than what we've encountered in this life. There's more to who and what we are than anything that you ever really fathomed before. And the way to connect to that and discover it for yourself, you won't discover it because I tell you that. I just open up the channel so that you and we help guide you so you know how to have good spiritual hygiene so that you're not a target, so that you have some shielding up, so that you are protected. And then you talk to your higher self, and you talk to source creator, and you talk to your guides, and you talk to your ascendant masters, and you're able to meditate, and you're able to get your downloads. This is an individual decision, free will choice decision that you make to take your power back. And once you feel it and you really feel like you are clear and that weight is gone and you have that divine communication, you can't even put a price tag on it. It is priceless. It's priceless. Obviously speaking from experience, but I've also encountered, several people at this point in time, since last year to now. It's well over 100 or so people that I've assisted in clearing out their energy. And, for them to really, really figure out who they are and their purpose for this life and this mission is monumental. I mean, how many times have you gone through in your own existence and said, I want to know why I'm here? I have to be here for a bigger reason than just punching the time clock. I'm meant to do more. A lot of us feel that on a deep soul level, but you don't know how to harness it. You don't know how to get to the truth. All I do, I've been blessed by Source Creator, Mother Sophia, my guides, my ascendant masters, to be able to open up the energy flow so then you can figure out, you get the downloads, you know why you're put here. You know your path. 100% from Source Creator exactly what the plan is involving you. And then you have free will choice on what you're going to do with that. I think it's super exciting. It took me some time to understand all the things, right? Because I can affect change in people and beings and populations in the land with just my thoughts because my energy, my frequency is very, very high. But whenever you're ascending and you are really, really embodying Christ consciousness, you're no longer a judgmental person. You're no longer a negative person. You're really being called to work for the greater good. And it doesn't feel like work. I hate to even use that term. You're being called to serve the greater good. And so it's very few times, but I do catch myself every now and again when I have to tip my toe into the 3D matrix and go out into that world and interact with people. Sometimes those old negative habits that I had of being judgmental, and having negative thoughts creep back up. But I really catch it. I want to catch it right away because I don't want to harm anyone. And my frequency is very high now, and I can harm people, and I don't want to do that. And so we help with the divine guidance. We help with the spiritual hygiene. We help with the support of helping you figure out who your ascendant masters are, who has chosen you to share their knowledge with. I have some videos on my YouTube channel about what are ascendant masters and what are they going to add to your life. So in the group, you will be asked to continue to stay with us so we can help support you. By and large, a lot of people have not the most supportive circle, whether it's a spouse or partner, family. By and large, those folks come to us and say, I can't talk to anyone about this because they'll think I'm crazy. Now, we don't think that because we've been there, and there's an ability called clairaudient, and you actually hear your messages, just like clairvoyance see and claircognizance know, clairfactient smell. So when you hear, you need to have some support so that whenever you hear your message come through, you're like, why am I hearing this voice in my head? It's usually not a bad thing. Usually not. It's usually your guides. It's usually your ascendant masters talking to you and giving you the information, and it's your ability on how they deliver it. Whatever your strongest ability is, it's how it's going to come in. So being able to have good spiritual hygiene and putting up shielding and protection, because the more of a clear channel you are, the higher your frequency gets, the more power you have. And people that cannot produce their own power want to steal yours. And so you're going to be a little bit of a moth to flame kind of situation there. And so staying within the group and just to have that feeling of community and that we have all been on that journey with you before and take our experiences and kind of help you gauge your next best step. Whenever a lot of times people ask questions and the answer is ask your higher self. Once you're clear, you can do that. You no longer have to rely on other people to give you information because you have access to source creator and your higher self. And they're not going to ever mislead you or send you down a path of destruction. So quantum energy transformations, I've been guided by source creator to really put this out there for any and all human beings that are of the light and have energy distortions, because there's energies coming in that are activating us, whether you know it or not, whether you are actively on the ascension journey or not. Things are changing. And the more that you can be proactive and be prepared, the easier it will be for you and for your people. So let's just say you're the only person in your family and you really resonate with everything I'm saying. And you're thinking, but once I do this, then what? A byproduct of clearing out your energy and your frequency rising is, without saying a word, without causing any overt ripples in the family, your higher frequency and the energies coming into the planet help to activate people around you. So they will inadvertently also have their frequency rise. And I have affected people in my frequency that were not of the light to be of the light just by being around me. And so you will have, the more you help heal yourself, the more you help center, clear out your energy bodies, that gives a positive reverberation into your energy field. And the more that infinite energy grows and that frequency rises, the larger your energy field gets. So you could literally, because I do this, it is very cool. You can literally just walk through a store and interact with very few people like verbally, but your energy is rising. It's just rising the mood. People are feeling a little different when you're around. They might start smiling. They might look up from the ground. They might put their phone down. They may just feel a little lighter. So don't think that because you're surrounded by people that are quote unquote asleep, or they would think that you're crazy or whatever. Just do what's best for you within your highest and best good. At the end of the day, we don't have any control over anyone else anyway. You only have control over you. So every soul has free will choice, and it's up to them to consent to do or not do anything. But your frequency can help raise the frequency of people around you. That's just a fact. Okay. Just like a negative frequency can lower the frequencies around you. So you want to always choose that higher timeline. You want to always choose that higher space and that higher frequency. And so again, in a culture where we've had so many choices taken from us and so much of our power taken from us, and we've given our power away under the guise of helpful apps and helpful processes and things. Well, now we know that really was to our detriment. And so this is the first really significant step that you can take to help take your power back. And that's why we have a crown in our logo, because you're royalty. Whenever you are a clear channel and you have access to your team, your spiritual team, and your galactic team, if you have one, not everyone does, but most people do, and your angels, your archangels, then you really are one of the most powerful beings in the universe. And that is why they've been fighting over us for eons, to control us and to keep us small and to keep us from realizing our power. So I am always a dutiful, obedient child of my source creator. And when this message came through, I was really a little conflicted. Not for any type of matrix reason. But I just really want people to understand that I am here to help the greater good. So if you literally only want to just clear your energy field and have the one-time session and move on with life, totally fine. Again, free will choice is at play here. And I would say that probably maybe 30, 45% of people that I encounter, they really do. They come to the point where they get their energy clear, and they learn a few key things, and then they pick the ball up and they run their own direction. And that's great, because now they know more than they did, whenever it all started. And they have some tools in their tool belt that they never even knew existed. But I do also want to make sure that you know that you're welcome to stay within the group and just kind of help cultivate that. And we're a good resource for confirming things that come in. We make sure that we keep each other accountable for being clear of any negative energy. And so it's just a really compassionate, empathetic, and very, very sovereign, but also divinely led, spiritually focused environment. Okay. There's only two rules really of being a member, being a participant, and having this done, is that you have to have a soul and you have to be of the light. Anything other than that, we can take care of it. So quantum energy transformations is another aspect of what Healing Disclosures will cover on the YouTube channel, but it's going to be a different Telegram channel. Because I really want people to be able to just focus on that without sometimes the conversation in the other rooms is just a little overwhelming. So again, look for this. This will be the logo on the Telegram channel. The link will be in the description box to come in and join. And whenever you come in, just say, hey, I saw your video. I don't know why I'm here, but let's talk. Because that's exactly how most conversations start. You don't know why you end up there, but you follow up the prompting and you do. And then Source really helps. He's always Source, creator, the creator of all things. And Mother Sophia is the creatrix of all life. And they are with me always. And I have a lot of divine support that I call in, and they really help guide any and all situations. It's not ever a me decision. I make my decisions always in collaboration with the spiritual team and with the client. So yeah, check us out. I'm really, really excited and happy to help anyone who wants to clear out their energy bodies and really see what life is really like and develop their abilities. They're going to come online. You probably already know about them anyway. You just didn't know what they meant. So come check us out, and I look forward to seeing you in the Quantum Energy Transformations Telegram group. Have a great day.